that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office.
We're diving into a fiery exchange from a December 2025 House Judiciary Committee hearing on immigration enforcement, where Democratic Representative Dan Goldman from New York grilled Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on asylum laws, ICE tactics, and what critics call a pattern of overreach. Picture this: a secretary dodging direct questions on whether deporting asylum seekers breaks the law, all while real stories of families torn apart unfold in the background. If you're frustrated with how immigration debates often ignore the human side, stay tuned as we break it down step by step. And if this kind of straightforward analysis helps you make sense of the chaos, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss our next report.
Goldman for 5 minutes.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right. So immigrants then with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that...
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
It's a lawful pathway.
Okay. So if your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with...
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed...
I'm asking you.
People to come
I'm asking you.
Asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was broken under the last...
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway. If you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office right in New York City. Numerous, thousands of people who have come to court appearances, have left them with open asylum applications, have been arrested. And then they've been shipped off and many deported. In September, one applicant was ripped away from his wife and small children after such a court appearance. And then this happened to his wife. Please play the video. No, it's not. It's not this one. All right, it's not this video. Here it is.
I'm yours. Come on, man.
Now, after this incident, your department issued a statement that said the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. 3 days later, you reinstated that officer and you put him back on duty. I sent you a letter and asked you what investigation was done and why was he reinstated. You did not answer that letter. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right here to explain to me that if that officer's conduct was, quote, beneath the men and women of ICE, unquote, why did you reinstate him?
Sir, that investigation was completed. I can give you that investigation and the information that you would like. This is
Well, I wrote you 2 months ago. Why haven't you given it to me
I'm
yet?
actually surprised that you haven't gotten it. I'm going to ask my staff about that.
Well, you
because
shouldn't
I
be
have
surprised
responded
because generally
to
speaking, you
hundreds
do
and
not
hundreds, if
respond
not
to
thousands
us.
of your letters.
Now, the other problem that we are
Mayorkas, when he had
seeing
this
all
job,
over
didn't
the
respond to
country
letters for years.
is that your officers are wearing masks, are dressed in plain clothes, often going around without identification.
All of our officers are identified.
I'm not asking a question. I introduced the No Secret Police Act to stop this. And we now have 113 co-sponsors so that they will not be masked and that they will identify themselves. Now, you say all of them are identifying themselves. That is not the case because last month in New York City again, the NYPD officers were injured by your masked, plainclothes ICE officers after they were called from 911 as residents witnessed your officers pulling individuals out of their vehicles and chasing them down the street. I also asked you what happened there. How were the NYPD officers injured by your officers? And you didn't respond. What's the answer?
Sir, our individual
Gentlemen's
officers
time
are
is
identified.
time has expired.
I yield
I
back.
recognize gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gonzalez, 5 minutes.
The hearing zeroed in on the fundamentals of U.S. asylum policy, with Goldman pressing Noem on whether asylum is a lawful way to immigrate. Noem agreed it's a program in place, but things got tense when Goldman followed up. Are immigrants with ongoing asylum applications legally in the country? The secretary hedged, noting there are people here with applications, but Goldman pushed for clarity, emphasizing that since asylum is a lawful pathway, deporting someone mid-process would violate the law. Noem tried to pivot to criticisms of the Biden administration's handling of the system, calling it broken, but Goldman wasn't having it, accusing her of filibustering and reclaiming his time to drive the point home. The obvious answer, Goldman stated, is yes, deporting those with open cases is illegal, yet he argued that's exactly what's happening nationwide, including right outside his New York office. Let's go deeper to help you understand why this matters beyond the back and forth. Asylum law, rooted in the 1980 Refugee Act and international conventions like the 1951 Refugee Convention that the U.S. signed onto, protects people fleeing persecution based on race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or social group. Once someone files a credible fear claim at the border or inside the country, they're entitled to a hearing, and during that process, which can drag on for years due to backlogs exceeding 1 million cases as of late 2025, they're legally present. Deporting them prematurely isn't just a policy slip, it's a violation that can lead to court challenges, as seen in cases like the Supreme Court's 2023 ruling in United States versus Texas, which limited states' ability to sue over federal enforcement priorities, but didn't greenlight ignoring due process. Goldman tied this to broader ICE practices that have drawn fire for years. Agents operating in plain clothes, wearing masks, and often without clear identification. He mentioned his No Secret Police Act, introduced in 2020 and now with 113 co-sponsors by 2025, which aims to mandate visible IDs and ban masks during arrests to prevent confusion and abuse. Noem insisted all officers are identified, but Goldman countered with a fresh example from November 2025 in New York City, where residents called 911 after seeing masked, plainclothes ICE agents pulling people from vehicles and chasing them. Responding NYPD officers ended up injured in the chaos, prompting another unanswered letter from Goldman seeking explanations. This incident isn't isolated. Reports from advocacy groups like the ACLU document similar tactics, leading to mistaken identities, community fear, and even wrongful arrests. Goldman's call to change the law if it's disliked is a nod to collaboration, but it underscores a divide. Democrats push for humane enforcement and pathways, while Republicans prioritize security and deterrence. Noem's evasions highlight the administration's focus on expediting removals under executive actions like the June 2025 asylum restrictions, which limit claims at the border when encounters exceed 2,500 daily. As the exchange wrapped with time expiring and recognition shifting to Representative Tony Gonzalez from Texas, it left lingering questions about transparency and reform. If this deep dive sheds light on the intricacies of asylum and ICE accountability or sparked your interest in immigration policy, subscribe now and join the discussion in the comments. Have you seen similar issues in your community? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, stay engaged, and we'll catch you next time.